Bitcoin plummets, wiping out billions. Meanwhile, UCHAIN skyrockets 700%. What's really happening beneath the crypto chaos? In the last 24 hours, the crypto market was slammed by a wave of red. Bitcoin crashed below $110,000, erasing over $940 million in value. Ethereum and XRP followed, each losing nearly 1%, rattling traders who thought the worst was finally over. But in the very same bloodbath, altcoins like UCHAIN did the unthinkable, surging 700%, with its price exploding past $440. Other smaller tokens such as Pyth Network, Neon, and Mitosis also posted gains between 50 and 75%, defying the panic that swept through every major coin. How could one coin rocket while Bitcoin triggered a 1,530% liquidation imbalance, forcing traders to sell at any price? Who saw this coming, and who got absolutely wiped out? This is not just about luck or wild speculation. The rules of the crypto market seem to be shifting right under our feet. If you follow the crowd, you could lose thousands as the herd stampedes toward the exits, or miss out on the next altcoin eruption. So is this the dawn of a new crypto cycle, a carefully orchestrated manipulation, or a warning that the old rules no longer apply? Let's break down exactly what just happened and what it means for your strategy. Not just a dip, this was a market bloodbath. Over the past 24 hours, the entire crypto world has watched in shock as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP crashed through critical support levels, sending shockwaves far beyond the usual volatility we expect. Bitcoin, the so-called king of crypto, failed repeatedly to claw back any meaningful recovery. Now it trades under $110,000, a level not seen since early July. In a matter of hours, a violent repricing wiped nearly $940 million from the market, with Bitcoin alone triggering over a 1,500% surge in forced liquidations. Traders who thought Bitcoin was a safe haven found themselves caught in a liquidation spiral that erased fortunes in minutes. Ethereum was hit even harder. It plunged almost 8%, bottoming just below $4,400 before clawing back slightly. This abrupt drop unleashed a cascade of liquidations, totaling about $838 million, most of it centered on Ethereum's collapse. The message to investors was loud and clear. Even the second largest crypto is not immune to panic-driven sell-offs. XRP, once a favorite among altcoin fans, has been battered for weeks. After a brief spike last month, it has now lost 20% in just 30 days. Even major coins like Binance Coin and Solana have slept, showing there is no easy shelter when the market turns risk off. Attempts to stabilize across the top tokens have failed time and again, fueling anxiety and shaking the confidence of both retail and institutional investors. The stakes could not be higher. Failing to recognize these signals, the breakdown of familiar support zones, the risk-off mood sweeping across global markets, can cost traders thousands in losses, or worse, lead to panic selling at the very bottom. Many portfolios have been slashed overnight. For some, years of gains have vanished in a single session. At moments like these, the instinct is to run for cover. But what if hiding in the old safe havens is exactly the wrong move? Because in the middle of this chaos, something unexpected happened. As giants crumbled, overlooked altcoins like UCHAIN and Pyth Network exploded upwards. UCHAIN, for example, surged a mind-boggling 700% in just one day, while Pyth Network jumped 75%. Even smaller coins like Neon and Mitosis posted double-digit gains. While the herd panicked, these outlier projects quietly minted new winners. This massive divergence shakes up everything we thought we knew about crypto cycles. The real story is less about the crash and more about how select altcoins are thriving where giants are bleeding. So is this a freak event or the early sign of a market looking for new leaders? Let's break down exactly how these altcoins managed to surge while the rest of the market burned, and what this means for traders looking for an edge. Imagine waking up to find an obscure coin like UCHAIN exploding while Bitcoin collapses. Could missing this flip cost you life-changing gains? Right now, this wild scenario isn't just possible, it's rewriting the rules for every crypto investor brave enough to play. The paradox is rattling the entire crypto world. Giants such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Cardano are bleeding value, starring waves of panic. Meanwhile, overlooked altcoins like UCHAIN are erupting with energy. In just 24 hours, UCHAIN soared by a staggering 700%. Yes, 700%, while nearly every major asset painted the charts a deep, unsettling red. But UCHAIN isn't alone. The Pyth network catapulted 75% in a single day. Neon nearly doubled with a 60% leap. And coins like Mitosis, Camp Network, and Heianon all booked double-digit rallies. All this unfolded as Bitcoin crashed below $110,000, and Ethereum failed to hold above $4,400, a direct challenge to the old playbook of crypto investing. What's driving this upheaval? It starts with a wave of volatility and panic. When large-cap cryptos nosedive, both human traders and algorithms scramble for survival and profit. Instantly, speculative energy pivots into smaller, less liquid coins, projects that can skyrocket on a fraction of the volume needed to move Bitcoin or Ethereum. For UCHAIN, less than $2 million in daily trading was enough to ignite a meteoric rise that left jaws on the floor. But the engine behind these moves is bigger than panic alone. Quantitative trading, those lightning-fast algorithms that hunt for fleeting opportunities, now dominates the scene. As fear grips the major coins, quant traders and programmed bots swarm into altcoins, accelerating their rallies with automated precision. As one research report bluntly stated, quantitative trading is attracting a fresh wave of investors. This tidal wave of rapid capital amplifies every move, creating volatility that can make or break fortunes overnight. Speculation has reached a fever pitch. Traders burned by Bitcoin and Ethereum losses are desperate for a comeback, throwing money at moonshot projects with tiny market caps. Even a single rumor, social post, or a massive purchase by a crypto whale can trigger an outsized, adrenaline-fueled rally. In this market, hope and hype can be as powerful as any technical indicator. The old notion that Bitcoin and Ethereum are always safe havens is collapsing. As these juggernauts tumble, investors hunt for whatever still works, no matter how risky or unknown. Suddenly, coins once dismissed as too volatile or too obscure are now in the spotlight. We're witnessing a paradigm shift where the definitions of safety and risk change by the week or even the hour. But beware, these explosive gains are a double-edged sword. Chasing an altcoin after a 700% run can trap you at the top, leading to crushing losses. Yet ignoring these shifts entirely means missing the signals of a market in transformation. In crypto, fortunes are won and lost not by clinging to outdated rules, but by reading these seismic undercurrents as they happen. The stakes are real and immediate. Misreading these rotations could mean buying the hype at the worst possible moment, or worse, sitting on the sidelines as others seize once-in-a-lifetime gains. Today, understanding the mechanics behind these wild surges and timing your moves through the chaos is no longer optional. It's essential if you want to protect your wealth, capture opportunities, and ride the next big wave instead of being crushed by it. So, is this the dawn of a new altcoin era, or just another chaotic blip destined to fade? To find out, we have to dig deeper into the forces driving these shockwaves and chart the possible paths ahead. Let's peel back the curtain and expose the real drivers behind these seismic market moves. The truth might change how you view risk and opportunity in crypto forever. Is this the end of Bitcoin dominance, or just another storm? What comes next for both the majors and the altcoins blazing their own trails? Right now, Bitcoin's grip on the crypto throne has never looked more uncertain. Attempts to sustain a recovery have consistently failed, with Bitcoin trading below $110,000 at the time of writing. The so-called safe haven is under siege. Intense sell-offs, violent repricing, and a whale-driven crash have triggered mass liquidations and sent jitters across the market. In just 4 hours, Bitcoin saw a more than 15-fold spike in liquidations as fear gripped investors and red candles dominated the charts. Ethereum and XRP follow close behind, each battered by the volatility. Ethereum, once steady near record highs of $4,880, has plunged under $4,400 before showing only a partial recovery. XRP, after hitting a yearly high in mid-July, is now down 20% over the last 30 days. Across the board, major tokens are under pressure, reflecting a clear risk-off sentiment from both retail and institutional players. But amidst the carnage, a new reality is emerging. Altcoins, often written off as too risky or too small to matter, are now rewriting the script. UCHAIN stands out, surging 700% in just 24 hours, while Pyth Network gained 75% and Neon leapt nearly 60%. Even smaller names like Camp Network and Hey Anon have seen gains over 30% each. This is not just a fluke. These altcoins are thriving as capital flees the wounded giants. So, are these surges a sign that altcoins will keep rising while Bitcoin falters? Or is this just temporary chaos before Bitcoin regains its crown? Some analysts argue Ethereum is gaining institutional ground and could play a growing role in global finance. XRP is seeing an institutional surge, with its price pushed to new heights and speculation swirling around its future. Yet, for every moonshot, there is a graveyard of failed coins. Volatility can eat everything, and what rises fast can fall even faster. The signals that matter most now are shifting. No longer can you rely solely on Bitcoin's chart or dominance metrics. Watch for surging volume in overlooked altcoins. Track institutional flows into Ethereum and XRP. Most crucially, be ready for sudden liquidations and flash crashes that can wipe out months of gains in minutes. Making the wrong bets now could lock in years of underperformance, or leave you brutally exposed to the next wave of panic selling. The bottom line may not apply anymore. With chaos comes both danger and opportunity, and every move you make from here could define your results for years to come. So what can you actually do about it? Up next, let's break down practical strategies to help you adapt and survive in this new, unpredictable crypto environment. Winners and losers in crypto are not chosen by luck. They are forged by strategy in chaos. So when the markets get bloody, the question is not who panics first, but who can spot opportunity where others only see fear. Let's break down how you do exactly that. First, accept the hard truth. Panic sells and FOMO buys almost always go wrong. History proves it. This week alone, nearly $1 billion vanished from the crypto market in a single day as Bitcoin slipped under $110,000, triggering a cascade of liquidations. But while the headlines screamed disaster, overlooked altcoins like UCHAIN quietly soared, up 700% in just 24 hours, and Pyth Network by 75%. This is not an accident. The market's wild volatility exposes the cracks in so-called safe havens. While Bitcoin and Ethereum tumbled, niche players like Neon and Mito leapt over 50%. As one report puts it, the fluctuations demonstrate that while major players may face setbacks, altcoins can often offer opportunities for strong returns during market downturns. So how do the winners do it? They look beyond the herd. They avoid selling bottoms and chasing tops. Instead of reacting to headlines or Twitter panics, they study market cycles, on-chain data, and historical patterns. This is where strategy beats emotion. Take a lesson from quantitative trading, the approach born in the 1960s and reaching its golden age in the 80s. Quantitative traders do not bet on hope. They use proven models, discipline, and unemotional execution. That mindset is your edge now more than ever, especially when the crowd is losing its head. Of course, not every altcoin winner is obvious. Some moves are traps, false signals that lure in desperate cash. That's why risk management is your first line of defense. Diversify, set stop losses, and never risk more than you can afford to lose. The biggest mistake? Ignoring history, buying into hype when a crash is underway, or selling everything after the bottom is already in. If you want to position for unpredictable markets, you must become a student of chaos, not a victim of it. Use volatility as your signal, not your enemy. Track accumulation patterns, like those building in XRP now, as some analysts suggest it could ride the next Bitcoin stumble. And watch for sentiment extremes, because when everyone is panicking, the seeds of the next rally are often being planted. Misapply these lessons, and you risk repeating the pain, buying tops, selling bottoms, or getting trapped by false hope. But get it right, and you could turn chaos into opportunity and fear into profit. So, will you wait for the next crash to decide, or will you act smarter, starting today? Let's talk about the steps you can take right now to get ahead of the crowd. Most will keep guessing and panicking. A few will adapt and capitalize. Which side will you be on? This market is not the one you remember. In just 24 hours, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP have all plunged, dragging billions in value down with them. Headlines scream about the bloodbath. Bitcoin now trades below $110,000, while Ethereum struggles beneath 4,400 and XRP slips even further. Yet, while fear sweeps the crowd, coins like UCHAIN have exploded, surging 700% overnight. This is the new reality. The so-called safe havens are anything but safe. Pyth Network jumped 75%. Neon and Mitosis soared more than 50% each. The rules of yesterday are being rewritten in real time, and clinging to old patterns is a recipe for getting wiped out. The cost of complacency is clear. React like everyone else, selling in a panic, waiting for old leaders to recover, and you risk joining another wave of losses. But those who think independently, who look beneath the surface for signs of hidden momentum, have a shot at turning this chaos into profit. Most will be paralyzed by uncertainty, hoping for things to go back to normal. But a handful will recognize that this market rewards agility, research, and discipline, not nostalgia. Are you preparing for what's next, or just praying for the past to return? If you want to be among the few who thrive, it starts with understanding the new signals driving these moves. Let's break down the exact strategies that can give you an edge in this transformed crypto landscape.